My family excluded me from our Christmas vacation because my sister didn't want me there. So I kicked her out of my house. I never wanted to believe that my parents had a favorite child. I mean, you always hear stories about golden children and scapegoats, but I figured that only happened in extreme cases. Turns out, I was dead wrong. I, male, 32 years old, have an older sister, Lisa, female, 35 years old. Growing up, it was painfully obvious that she was the princess of the family. She got everything she wanted, and I mean everything. When she turned 16, my parents bought her a brand new car, even though she didn't have a job and barely passed her classes. When I turned 16, my dad tossed me the keys to his old beat-up truck and told me to work hard if I wanted something better. When Lisa wanted to go to college, my parents paid her full tuition, covered her rent, and even sent her extra money for shopping and eating out. When it was my turn, they told me they were tapped out financially and that I needed to take out student loans and get a job if I wanted to go to school. Did it suck? Yeah, but I told myself that life wasn't fair and I just had to deal with it. Lisa was just lucky and I had to fend for myself. After college, Lisa got married to her husband, Mark. He was one of those guys who always had big plans, but never actually followed through on anything. He'd try starting businesses, switch careers, invest in cryptocurrency. None of it ever worked out. And yet my parents treated him like a king. Meanwhile, I was working my ass off, climbing the corporate ladder, and eventually bought my own house. No financial help from my parents, no handouts, just hard work. Then, about a year ago, Lisa and Mark ran into some trouble. One of Mark's business ventures failed spectacularly, leaving them in debt. Lisa, who had never held a real job in her life, suddenly found herself unable to afford her high-maintenance lifestyle. They ended up getting evicted from their fancy apartment because they couldn't pay rent. Of course, where did they go first? Mom and Dad. But guess what? This time, my parents couldn't afford to help them either. Retirement wasn't as cushy as they thought, and they just didn't have the money to bail Lisa out this time. So, being the good brother, I stepped in. I told Lisa and Mark they could stay at my house rent-free until they got back on their feet. I wasn't expecting a medal, but I figured they'd at least be grateful. At first, things were okay. But then, slowly, I started to notice things that made my blood boil. Lisa and Mark promised they would pitch in for groceries and utilities. They never did. They said they were looking for jobs. They weren't. Lisa still went out for expensive lunches with her friends, came home with bags of new clothes, and acted like nothing had changed. Mark sat around playing video games all day, complaining that the job market is impossible right now. Meanwhile, I was paying for everything, electricity, water, food, and they were treating my house like a free Airbnb. I tried to stay patient. I told myself, give them time, they'll figure it out. But deep down, I knew they were taking advantage of me. Then the final straw came. One night, I overheard Lisa on the phone with my mom, giggling about something. I wasn't eavesdropping, but when I heard the words Hawaii and Christmas trip, I perked up. After she hung up, I casually asked, "Hey, what's this about Hawaii?" Lisa's face went blank for a second before she quickly recovered. "Oh, yeah, Mom and Dad are taking us on a little Christmas getaway. It's just gonna be a small family trip." A small family trip. I blinked. "So when are we leaving?" That's when Lisa got awkward. She avoided eye contact. Well, actually, you're not coming." I thought she was joking. I even laughed. "Ha, good one." She didn't laugh, she just shrugged and said, "Yeah, so, it's just gonna be me, Mark, the kids, and Mom and Dad. We didn't think you'd mind." I could feel my blood pressure rising. "You didn't think I'd mind? Lisa, I let you live here for free. I've been paying for everything. And now you're telling me that you and the rest of the family are going on a Christmas vacation without me?" Lisa rolled her eyes. "Oh, come on, it's just a trip. It's not a big deal." "Not a big deal? You're literally living in my house because you got evicted. You're telling me there's money for a luxury vacation but not for rent?" She scoffed. "Mom and Dad are paying for it, not me." "Oh, so that made it okay?" My parents, who had never once helped me financially, were now footing the bill for Lisa and her family to have a lavish Christmas in Hawaii while I was left behind in my own house, paying for their daily expenses? I didn't say anything else. I just nodded, walked away, and went to my room. I didn't sleep that night. My brain was spinning, replaying every time I had ever been pushed aside, ignored, and treated like I was less important than Lisa. And now, after everything I had done for her, she still didn't see me as family. That's when I made my decision. I was done being the scapegoat. I was done being used. Lisa and Mark were about to learn a very valuable lesson. I don't think I've ever been this angry in my life. I spent the whole night tossing and turning, replaying the conversation with Lisa over and over again in my head. She didn't think I'd mind? After everything I had done for her, after taking her and her family in when they had nowhere else to go, she still didn't consider me part of the family. I wanted to believe this was just some miscommunication, that maybe my parents didn't realize what they were doing. But deep down, I knew that was a lie. They knew exactly what they were doing. And the worst part? They didn't even feel bad about it. The next morning, I decided I needed answers. I waited until breakfast when Lisa and Mark were in the kitchen, casually sipping coffee like they didn't have a care in the world. Like they weren't planning to ditch me for Christmas while still living under my roof, eating my food, using my electricity. I pulled out a chair and sat down across from them. "So," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "when were you planning on telling me about Hawaii?" Lisa sighed dramatically, setting her coffee down. "Oh my God, are you still on about that?" "Yes," I said, crossing my arms. "I'd love to hear the explanation." Lisa and Mark exchanged a glance, and I could already tell they were about to gaslight me. "It's just a vacation," Lisa said, rolling her eyes. "Mom and Dad wanted to treat us since we've been going through a rough time." "Us?" I repeated, staring at her. "You mean you and Mark? Because last I checked, I'm also part of this family." Lisa just shrugged. "You don't have kids, it's different. Mom and Dad wanted to do something nice for our family." I clenched my jaw. "You're telling me that our parents, who never once paid a dime for me growing up, who left me to fend for myself while handing you everything, suddenly have enough money to send you on a luxury vacation?" Lisa had the audacity to laugh. "Oh my God, you're being so dramatic. It's not like they're excluding you on purpose. They just, thought you'd be fine staying here. Staying here. In my own house." I turned to Mark, who had been silent up until now, scrolling on his phone like this whole conversation was beneath him. "And you? You don't see anything wrong with this?" Mark didn't even look up. "Dude, you're making this a bigger deal than it is. It's just a vacation. Relax." That was it. That was the moment I snapped. I stood up so fast my chair nearly toppled over. "You know what? You're right. It is just a vacation. And you're free to go. In fact, I insist." Lisa frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" I took a deep breath, gripping the back of the chair to keep myself from screaming. "It means you have 1 week to pack your bags and get out of my house." Silence. Lisa's mouth fell open. "Are you serious?" "Dead serious. You can't be serious." "I am. 1 week. Find somewhere else to stay." Lisa scoffed, shaking her head like I was the one being unreasonable. "Where the hell are we supposed to go? We don't have anywhere else." "Not my problem," I said coldly. "Maybe Mom and Dad can help you out. Since they apparently have so much extra money lying around to pay for your little Hawaii trip." Lisa's face turned red. "You're really kicking us out? Right before Christmas?" I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You mean the Christmas that I wasn't even invited to? That Christmas?" Lisa started ranting about how I was overreacting and how families should support each other, but I had stopped listening. Mark just sat there in stunned silence, clearly not used to someone actually standing up to Lisa's bullshit. "Like I said," I repeated, 1 week. Then I walked out of the kitchen, leaving them to process what just happened. It didn't take long for my phone to start blowing up. First, it was Lisa. She spammed me with texts, alternating between calling me selfish and guilt-tripping me about how this would affect her kids. Then, Mom called. I let it go to voicemail. She called again and again, 6 times in a row. Finally, I picked up. "How dare you," was the first thing out of her mouth. I took a deep breath. "Hi, Mom. Nice to hear from you. Something wrong?" "You know what's wrong. Lisa just called me sobbing because you're kicking her out of your house." "That's correct. Why would you do that to your own sister? Right before Christmas?" I leaned back against the counter, gripping my phone tightly. "Oh, you mean the Christmas that I wasn't invited to?" Mom hesitated. Well, Lisa just wanted some time with her own family. You know, with the kids. Cut the bullshit, Mom, I interrupted. You and Dad paid for Lisa and Mark to go on vacation while they're living under my roof for free. You didn't even think about including me. And now you expect me to let them stay here like nothing happened? Mom sighed like I was exhausting her. You're making this into such a big deal, honey. We just assumed you'd be fine on your own. Of course you did, I muttered. Because that's what I've always been, right? Fine on my own, while Lisa gets everything handed to her. There was a long silence. Then Mom sighed again. You're really not going to change your mind? No, Mom, I said firmly. I'm not. She started to say something else, but I hung up. I stared at my phone for a long moment, waiting for the guilt to kick in. It never did. Lisa barely spoke to me for the rest of the week. She stomped around the house, slamming doors and whispering to Mark like I was some kind of monster. Mark tried to avoid me completely, which was fine because I had nothing to say to him. A few days later, I saw Lisa on the phone with our dad, crying about how I was ruining Christmas. I just rolled my eyes and walked past her. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. I wasn't going to be anyone's doormat anymore. Lisa and Mark had 6 days left before they were out of my house, and I was counting every single one of them. What do you think, Reddit? Was I being too harsh? Should I have given them more time? Let me know what you'd do in my situation. Lisa and Mark had 6 days left before they were out of my house, and every single day leading up to it, they made my life hell. At first, Lisa did what she always did, played the victim. She sulked around the house, sighing dramatically every time she walked past me, slamming doors just loud enough to make a point. Mark? He avoided me completely, which was probably the smartest decision he had ever made. But then, when the silent treatment didn't work, Lisa switched to full-on manipulation mode. That night, I came home from work to find Lisa sitting on my couch, crying. I didn't even flinch. I knew exactly what this was. She looked up at me with red, puffy eyes. I don't understand why you're doing this to me. I threw my keys on the counter, crossing my arms. Doing what, Lisa? She sniffled. Kicking us out. We're family. I let out a humorless laugh. Oh, now we're family? That's funny, because last week, when you were planning a Christmas trip without me, I sure as hell wasn't considered family then. Lisa quickly wiped her eyes, her face twisting into something ugly. Oh my God, you're so petty. This is about a vacation? Are you seriously that jealous? I took a deep breath, feeling my patience snap like a rubber band. This isn't about a goddamn vacation, Lisa. This is about the fact that I took you in when no one else would. I paid for everything. Your food, your bills, your kids, while your lazy-ass husband sat on his ass doing nothing, and instead of even a shred of gratitude, you turned around and made sure I was excluded from my own goddamn family. Lisa's jaw dropped. No, I snapped, cutting her off. You don't get to talk anymore. You had plenty of time to talk when you were laughing with Mom about how I wouldn't mind. But guess what, Lisa? I do mind. Lisa's face turned red with anger. You are such a bitter asshole. You think just because you own a house, you get to treat everyone like garbage? This is why no one wants you around. You are a miserable selfish. I smiled, and then I dropped the bomb. You have 3 days left. Oh, and starting tomorrow, the Wi-Fi is off. Lisa's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. What? You heard me, I said, pulling my phone out and canceling the Wi-Fi right in front of her. You don't pay rent. You don't buy groceries. You sure as hell don't get to have free internet while calling me selfish in my own house. Lisa let out an ear-piercing scream and stormed off to her room, slamming the door so hard a picture fell off the wall. The next morning, I woke up to 20 missed calls from Mom. I sighed. Here we go. I picked up on the next ring. How could you do this to your sister? Ah, there it is. I rubbed my temple. Morning, Mom. Don't morning mom me. Lisa just called me crying because you turned off the Wi-Fi and told her she has 3 days left. Yep, I said simply. Mom let out an exasperated gasp. This is cruel. She's your family. I laughed coldly. Oh, now she's my family? Because last I checked, she didn't consider me part of hers when she planned that Hawaii trip. Mom ignored that. She has kids, OP. Where do you expect them to go? Oh, I don't know, Mom. Maybe the same place you were willing to let me be while you all were off drinking cocktails on a beach. Silence. Then she switched tactics. "You are being so immature. This is not what family does." I took a deep breath, and then for the first time in my life, I said exactly what I needed to say. "You know what, Mom? You're right. This isn't what family does. A real family wouldn't treat me like an afterthought. A real family wouldn't use me when it's convenient and throw me away when I'm not needed. So maybe it's time I stop pretending that I ever had a real family to begin with." Mom gasped like I had slapped her. "You don't mean that." "Oh, I absolutely mean that." I hung up. And let me tell you, it felt amazing. Lisa must have realized by now that her manipulation wasn't working, because that night, she and Mark tried one last thing. I walked in after work to find them sitting in the living room with their bags packed. I raised an eyebrow. "Finally got the message?" Lisa stood up, crossing her arms. "We're leaving." "Good," she scoffed. "You know, you're going to regret this. When you're all alone on Christmas while we're in Hawaii, you'll realize what a horrible mistake you made." I grinned. "Oh, I won't be alone, Lisa. I have friends who actually like me, unlike my family." Lisa's face turned beet red. "You're such a fucking loser." Mark, who had been quiet this entire time, finally muttered, "Let's just go, Lisa." She stomped past me, dragging her suitcase behind her. "You're gonna die alone, OP." I smirked. Better alone than surrounded by users. And then, they were gone. I woke up to complete silence. No Lisa, no Mark, no freeloaders. I made myself a big Christmas breakfast, played my favorite music, and spent the entire day celebrating with people who actually cared about me. Lisa never called, Mom never called, and I didn't care. For the first time in years, I had peace, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Lisa was out, but I wasn't done yet. Christmas morning was blissfully quiet. No Lisa screaming, no Mark lazing around like a deadweight, no entitled freeloaders draining my wallet and sanity. For the first time in years, I felt peace. I spent the day how I wanted, cooked myself a big Christmas breakfast, blasted my favorite music, and hung out with people who actually gave a damn about me. No fake family obligations, just pure, unbothered joy. But of course, Lisa wasn't going to go down quietly. 2 days later, I woke up to dozens of texts and notifications. Lisa had taken to Facebook, Twitter, and even Instagram to paint me as the villain of the century. Her bullshit sob story went something like this. "Christmas is supposed to be about family, but this year, my own brother kicked me and my kids out right before the holidays. I never thought someone could be so cruel over something so petty. I hope one day he realizes that money isn't everything." Oh, hell no. First of all, I paid for everything while she sat on her ass doing nothing. Second, she conveniently left out the part where she excluded me from my own family's vacation. And of course, some gullible relatives fell for it. "Oh my God, Lisa, I'm so sorry. That's horrible. Your brother is heartless. Family is family. Kicking out children during Christmas? What kind of monster does that?" But then, the real ones showed up. Buried in the comments were people who actually knew the truth. "Wait, wasn't OP paying for everything while you lived in his house? So let me get this straight. You and your husband didn't pay rent, refused to work, and OP still let you stay for months, but now you're mad? Lisa, you literally planned a whole vacation and didn't invite OP, and now you're shocked he's done with you? Girl, you done played yourself." And the best comment? "Lisa, weren't you still getting your nails done and shopping while your brother was paying your bills?" LOL, sit down. Lisa tried to argue. She tried to spin it, but too many people were calling her out. Within hours, she deleted the post. Now here's where it gets really good. After she got kicked out, Lisa and Mark moved in with our parents. At first, my mom acted all smug. She even sent me a text. "Mom, see, family takes care of each other. I just wish you had done the same." I left her on read. But guess what? 2 weeks later, Dad called me, and the first words out of his mouth? "Duh, I can't fucking stand it." I had to put the phone on mute because I was laughing so hard. Turns out, Lisa and Mark were making my parents' lives a living hell. Lisa was still spending money she didn't have, demanding our parents pay for everything. Mark? Still unemployed, still playing video games all day. And the best part? Lisa was complaining that our parents' house wasn't nice enough for her. Oh, the delicious irony. Dad was losing his mind. He told me Mom was on the verge of a breakdown because Lisa expected to be treated like a queen. And then, the final twist. 1 month later, I got a text from Lisa. At first I thought it was another angry rant, but no, it was her begging for help. Lisa, hey, I know things have been rough between us, but can we talk? Oh, hell no. Then another text. Lisa, Mom and Dad kicked us out. We don't have anywhere to go. I know I messed up, but please. The kids need a place to stay. Oh, you mean the same kids you used as an excuse to manipulate me? I didn't reply. Then she called. I let it go to voicemail. Then another text. Lisa, please. We have nowhere else to go. And that's when I hit her with the ultimate response. Me, not my problem. Blocked. Lisa and Mark burned every bridge they had. My parents kicked them out. Other family members refused to help. And me? I'm still sipping my coffee in my peaceful, quiet house. Lisa learned the hard way that when you treat people like shh, eventually karma comes knocking. And when it does, there's no one left to bail you out. So Reddit, was that satisfying enough? Or should I have gone even further? Either way, I have zero regrets.